Who hates Asian Americans? Who is vilifying them? Who is discriminating against them? Who is preventing Asian Americans from achieving, through effort and industry and merit and success, their American dream? I guess I'm in this camp, Asian Americans. And if I listen to recent rhetoric, it appears like my great enemy is the white supremacists. Now, I've talked before that in these hate crime incidents, they are not being perpetrated by white supremacists. That is absolutely false narratives from the left. They're trying to create an illusion here. Even in the Atlanta case, they go, yeah, we got it. Here's a white supremacist. Well, that guy wasn't a white supremacist. He was essentially a sex pervert. And in the other cases, if you begin to look closely, you see that the vast majority of attacks, they're launched by blacks, by African Americans against Asian Americans. Remember, most of these attacks are occurring in blue America, in the cities in which Asian Americans are concentrated. New York City, for example, San Francisco, places like that. So the hate crimes narrative is totally bogus. But it's kind of funny to see these university presidents of Ivy League schools all jumping on the bandwagon and expressing their political solidarity with Asian Americans. A recent statement from the president of Harvard talking about the school must stand as a bulwark against hatred toward Asian Americans. And we get pretty much the same tone. Here is a Columbia president, Lee Bollinger. To the many thousands in our Columbia community who are Asian or Asian American, we want to know that we too, on your behalf, feel the anguish and justifiable fear, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all these memos sound exactly the same. Dartmouth College, Phil Hanlon, the president, he goes, we stand in solidarity with members of our Asian American community. The Yale Psychology Department talks about anti-Asian prejudice is horrible and goes on and on and on. And yet I ask a simple question. Which institutions in our society are systematically discriminating against Asian Americans? The top 8 contenders: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth, Columbia, Cornell, Brown, Penn. The 8 Ivy League institutions and selective colleges throughout the country. They are systematically discriminating in favor of blacks and Latinos and against Asian Americans. Now, why are they doing this? They're doing this because in their view, Asian Americans are, quote, overrepresented. In other words, they are doing too well considering their numbers. Asian Americans might be, for example, 6 or 7% in a surrounding community, but 25%, 30% at Berkeley or Oberlin or Princeton. And so Princeton goes, let's bring down the number of Asians. And how do they do this? They do it by creating a multiple track racial admission system in which, in a sense, every race competes, but they compete only against members of their own race. They run in their own racial lane. And what is the effect of this? It's very startling. There was a 2-year study conducted by the Department of Education. This was in the last 4 years. And it concluded, and I'll read you the result, white and Asian American applicants had a 1/10 to 1/4 chance of acceptance compared with students from racial minority groups who had the same qualifications. So same grades, same test scores, same extracurriculars. The bottom line of it is if you are white or Asian American, you're almost certain not to get in. If you're black or Latino, you're almost certain to get in. So, the left talks a lot about the fact that we have institutional racism in this country. And so here we have it. This is institutional racism. We've got structures, elite structures of education, which, by the way, have a lot of impact on the kind of credentials you end up with, the kind of jobs you get, your opportunities in life. So this is not an inconsequential institution. That's why people struggle so hard to get in. And yet these institutions are institutionally, systematically discriminating in favor of some ethnic groups and against other ethnic groups. So we have a massive violation of the principle of merit, massive violations of the principle of color blindness. And all of this is coming from the left, from the Ivy League, from these university presidents and scholars for the very people who profess to be in political solidarity with the Asian American community. These are the people who are shutting us down. These are the people who are keeping us out. These are our real enemies. They profess to be our friends, but with friends like this, who needs enemies?